Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Career 360. Today we have someone really interesting with us. She's not only an MBA graduate from IIM Visakhapatnam, but she's also a content creator. She's a multitasker, and today we'll learn all about her journey and also about her life at IIM Visakhapatnam from her. So, hi Shruti, how are you?
Hi, Vyakya. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm also good, Shruti. So, Shruti, for everyone who's watching this video, tell us a little bit about yourself and your profile.
Okay, sure. So, as you mentioned, I'm Shruti Sonavne. I've been born and brought up in Aurangabad, Maharashtra. I recently graduated from IIM Visakhapatnam in March 2024. And previous to that, I did my BTech in computer science. I'm a fresher, so I started preparing for CAT in my final year. And immediately post that, I joined IIM Visakhapatnam. Talking about me, I come from a humble background, and I've always been the person, who is very fond of stage, mic, public speaking, and that part of me of communication and leadership got me into management interest. And soon I discovered interest in marketing, and that is how I figured out that I may be a good fit for MBA. Talking about my profile, I have a 878 profile in my 10th, 12th, and undergrad. And I was a part of the placement committee in the first year, post which in the second year, I started my personal branding and content creation journey, starting from LinkedIn. And now I've built a community of over 45,000 across LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So, yeah, that's about me. And I'm excited for this conversation.
That's so great to hear. So, Shruti, you said you were pursuing engineering, so then you transitioned into management. So, why this transition? What happened? And when did you start preparing for CAT then?
Okay. So, I started preparing for IIT JEE in 11, 12, and I always wanted to get into a national institute, but I failed IIT JEE miserably. I could not even make it to NIT or any government engineering college, and I wanted to pursue computer science only. So, that is why I took admission in private engineering college. That thing stuck into me for so long that I had been working on upskilling, on skill building, and on profile building throughout my engineering days, and I was the first person to get placed from my college in the final year. I had a plenty of time in my hand because it was lockdown. I was at home. I was attending online lectures. So that is the time when I thought of let's give a try to CAT as a fresher. So
Okay.
it was around 3 or 4 months I had before CAT. I started preparing for CAT, and yeah, that's how I ended up in IIM Visakhapatnam.
Okay, that's great. So, you cracked CAT in 3 or 4 months, like you mentioned. So, how many hours did you used to dedicate on a daily basis to it?
So I think I had my online lectures in the morning for whole day. So I could not give much time, but it was around 4 or 5 hours regularly. And I used to at least every alternate day give a sectional mock test, so which was again like 1.5 hours again for that. So yeah, around 4 to 5 hours regularly.
Okay. Also, how you mentioned that, you weren't able to crack JEE mains exam and JEE exam. So, and then you wanted to be in a national institute. I think this is a problem for most of the students in India that they want that brand associated with them. So then how did you, prepare yourself and motivated yourself to, get into CAT preparation and do well in it?
So firstly, talking about that mindset, it comes for a whole lot of this middle class generation people. So we who are from middle class, for us, it has always been told that the only way to success is through education, and
Yes.
other sources of income, or non-traditional aspects are not that glorified, or we don't know how to actually get into it. So I was a bright kid when I was in school, and my parents also thought that she'll make it to IIT. I also saw that dream, and when I did not crack IIT JEE, I was not even able to crack any government institute. That is when I would not say depressed, but I was really sad, and I lost motivation. I lost confidence in me. I thought that, okay, I'm not maybe as smart as I think. Maybe I'm not able to do big things in life. I'll never achieve those things. So, profile building was something I really focused on through my engineering. And post that, CAT is something I did not have confidence that I'll crack in the first attempt itself. But it is through practice and mostly through mock tests that I think I was able to get into IIM Visakhapatnam. And one major aspect of getting into IMV was also that it gives a lot of marks to interview. So the weightage for interview, the component is very heavy. And as I said, I'm really interested into communications, events, and public speaking. So that also helped me a lot.
Okay. That's so great to hear. So, like you mentioned that you used to practice mocks daily and dedicated a lot of time to it. So, for students who are starting their CAT prep, what advice would you want to give to them? How should they start their CAT prep right now?
I think the first thing I did was I took a mock test to understand that where I stand today. So anybody who is starting preparation and it is your day zero, just give a mock blindly and see that how much you can score. I'm not saying that that is an exact measure to see where you stand, but you'll at least get an idea that without preparation, where do you stand in which of the segments, and you'll understand your strengths and weaknesses. So for someone who is starting today, the first step could be taking a mock test, and then one size does not fit all is what I've always said. So accordingly, आप अपने strengths देखो, weakness देखो, and make a customized plan for yourself according to your weaknesses, strengths, and your timetable.
Okay. And among the three sections, which section did you find challenging?
DILR. So I always thought that DILR is very interesting. I used to love solving the DILR sets, but I did not have great accuracy in DILR was my problem. So yeah, that was very challenging for me.
Okay. So then how did you worked upon it? How did you improve in it?
I think most of the time that I used to spend was in solving DILR sets. So
Okay.
because I understood that I'm not getting great accuracy there, I did not take much risk in the segment. So I did not follow that let us solve this, let us solve that, and trying to solve 100% of the DILR set. I used to figure out which set is easy and how can I solve 100% of the set in less time. So that focus I kept, and I used to practice a lot, and I never wanted to solve 100% of the DILR. I just wanted to solve 100% of accurate DILR that I can.
Okay. And what were the resources that you were using when you were preparing?
Uh, so for mock test, I took time mock test and IMS mock test. Apart from that, I had study material taken up from IMS, and I did
Okay.
not join any coaching classes. Reason being, as it was lockdown, so already my engineering classes were going online, and as we know, the attention span of students attending online lectures is not that great. So I understood that another online lectures would not help me. So
Okay.
I just focused on self study. I took a lot of YouTube channel help, and I am a study material and mock test that I mentioned.
Okay.
Majorly, I followed this.
Okay. So it's really great to know that you prepared yourself for the CAT preparation and you cracked it. So how did you then structured your preparation? Because in coaching they usually have a scheduled plan for preparing all the topics. So how did you structured and more organized your preparation?
So as I mentioned, I used to follow a lot of YouTube channels. So Shweta Arora's channel helped me a lot. So there were a lot of preparation techniques, tips, and structures that she had provided. And I remember I followed one of the structure that she gave. I might have some of the notes still with me. So I used to follow one or two people and the strategy as it is. And again, not 100% of the strategy that she told or anybody else told would work for me. So again, I customized it according to my mock scores day in, day out as I went forward with the preparation.
Okay. So you mentioned mock. So usually students are, scared to give mock tests. So how many mocks did you attempt approximately, and how did you analyze it?
Um, I don't remember the count, but I think I had 45 mock tests from time and around 60 from IMS.
Oh,
And I covered almost 90% of the full length mock tests that were given by them. And sectional mocks, at least 30 mocks I did give for sections, out of which 15 were for DILR and the others were for VARC and QA. And yeah, I don't remember the exact count. That is all I could think of in the numbers now.
that's okay. That's okay. So when students, see a low score in their mocks, they get demotivated. How did you kept yourself motivated when you saw not so great score in the mocks?
So I think I did not get motivated by the mocks itself. So as I said that I was very demotivated since the IIT JEE failure. So this time while preparing, I did not take up much pressure on myself, and I did not think that I have to excel in my very first mock. I just wanted to figure out the area of my strength and the area of my weakness so that I can work upon it. So I think the students who are feeling demotivated while they are analyzing their mocks, the only way to not get demotivated is don't take pressure while analyzing the mock, but just go through the process of analyzing to find out and figure out the areas of improvement.
Oh, okay. Shruti, do you think that selective study works in CAT? People usually advise for doing such little bit of important topics, more emphasis on the important topics, and then probably leaving out the rest of them. Do you think it works for them? And would you advise students to do that? And are there any important topics that you think are, so important that one cannot just leave in CAT?
So as I mentioned, I just had 3-4 months for preparation. So even I thought of this approach
Okay.
that let me figure out the most important topics so that I can only focus on them at first. And to some extent, yes, it does work because when you go through the mock test of several years, so say last 5 years or 10 years papers that I did solve, I understood that these are a set of questions जो इस section से आते हैं, and I started solving those sections and those questions first.
Okay.
So maybe it's not like you can leave certain topics, but yeah, emphasizing on topics from where you can expect most of the questions can be a good strategy.
Okay, so once you were done with your CAT exam and the results were out, how did you started preparing for GDPI and your interviews?
Right. So I was expecting calls from at least CAP and IIM Visakhapatnam.
Okay.
And because we get the answer key, so figuring that out. And yes, I did get calls from CAP and IMV. So the very first thing I started doing after CAT was I started reading newspaper every day. So I
Okay.
used to read Times of India and Economic Times every day. That kept me up with the current affairs, and also it helped me improve my general knowledge and the business context was in state. Again, for preparing for the interviews, I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to answer certain type of questions, and I used to write a lot about myself. So I think one thing everybody that they should do after writing CAT is explore yourself and what you like, what you don't like, and what kind of person you are. That will give you a lot of clarity about what you want to do and how you want to explain your answers.
Okay.
So that is an exercise that I did, that I used to figure out about myself, and yeah, the newspaper.
Okay. So then how did your interview process went for all the CAP rounds and then at IIM Visakhapatnam?
So my CAP interview was very stressed interview.
Okay.
So, but comparatively, IIM Visakhapatnam interview was not a stressful interview. So
Okay.
it depends on panel to panel, and the experience might change for candidates.
Hmm.
So basically, I attempted for 4 interviews throughout my GDPI journey. And the first one that I gave was, I think, Goa Institute of Management. So I got a call for Achievers Round. Then I had NMIMS call, I had CAP call, and I had IIM Visakhapatnam call. IIM Visakhapatnam interview was the last one. So by the time I was very prepared with the interview process and everything.
Yeah.
The CAP interview, as I said, it was a stress interview, and most of the questions were dependent on uh, general knowledge, current affairs, and a few questions from my graduation subjects.
Okay.
Yeah. And my IIM Visakhapatnam interview was a very unique experience. So uh, it was a 45-minute long interview. And my interview started from a very classic question, which is tell me about yourself. And from that, the interview had every aspect to cover, whatever I could say. So from the tell me about yourself section, they picked up about the digital marketing internships that I have did and from the background that I come from. So those questions were asked. Post that they could hear a jingle that was played in the background when I was appearing the interview. And the jingle was played in Marathi by the municipality vehicle that comes for garbage collection.
Okay.
And the panelists, so there were two panelists in the online interview. One was a male professor, one was a female professor. They both heard the jingle and it was actually interrupting the interview. So I apologized and I said that there is some disturbance in the background and I'll just need a minute to continue with the answer. So they stumbled upon this question and said that what is this jingle playing in the background? Now I had to explain the meaning of the jingle, and it turned out to be a garbage collection vehicle. So the interview went in another direction, wherein they kept me asking questions about sustainability, environmental issues, environmental issues in my city, then importance of garbage collection, and my views on how I can be a good citizen, how I can provide value in the environment aspect. And all of these questions were very unexpected.
Yeah.
So this went on for around 10 to 15 minutes. Post that, they asked me questions about why MBA. That was expected. Then why MBA as a fresher? Now, when I answered why MBA as a fresher, the perspective that came in was, if you have so much knowledge about current affairs and if you are so keen about environmental issues, you seem to be interested in the civil services also. So, did you ever not think of attempting UPSC? And do you really want to pursue that career in future, or you think you're a good fit in corporate? So such questions were asked. Post that, they gave me a business case related to marketing, as I mentioned about my marketing internships, and a question about technology, a question from a subject from my engineering second year, which I remember I could not answer, and I did not try to globe, or I did not try to fake the answer. I honestly told them that I'm not able to recall. And yeah, that is around it. Post which, at the end of the interview, they gave me an opportunity to ask questions. I asked two questions. One was about the curriculum and the life at IIM Visakhapatnam, and how a person like me who is very interested in extracurriculars would spend my time in the campus, you think? And second question was, if I get any better institute than IIM Visakhapatnam, so why would you suggest me to choose IIM Visakhapatnam over any other institute? So yeah, these were the two questions that I asked.
What was the answer that they gave to these questions?
Yeah, so they mentioned about the faculties that they have. So they mentioned about what kind of education excellence is IIM Visakhapatnam trying to achieve, how the students are equipped with the top notch curriculum, what kind of professors will be training us, what opportunities will I get. And they also told that this is going to be a work ex heavy batch probably, and I'm a fresher. So I'll be able to learn a lot from my peers.
Okay.
So the batch composition was also a factor that they mentioned. And yeah, they also mentioned about IIM Visakhapatnam being surrounded by mountains and having a great connectivity to the beaches. So I'll have a good weekend.
Okay, okay. So you mentioned about this question as to why one wants to pursue MBA. So you had an answer back then as a fresher, and now since you have completed that journey, has anything changed in that answer, or has anything evolved that you want to share with us?
Uh, I don't think anything has changed in that answer. It's just more things added to that answer, but the answer still relies the same, and it's the same that I want to work with people. I'm a people's person. I love stage. I love mic. I really want to manage people. I want to be in the leadership position where I'm able to make decisions. So the answer was also same, but now the examples that I could give and the way I could structure it and my perspective, my thought process has evolved,
Hmm.
but the basics of it remain the same.
Okay, that's great. So now let's go to your life at IIM Visakhapatnam.
So,
So tell us about the first day when you entered the college. What was going on in your mind?
so the first day when I entered the college, so at the gate I met somebody. So this is a very raw experience that I'm sharing. So on the gate I met somebody who was working in Deloitte,
Okay,
and she had a work experience of more than 3 to 4 years. Then I
okay,
went to the hostel. I met somebody who is again working in Big Four, and she had a work ex of 4 5 years. Then I
okay.
met another 2 3 people, and all the people were coming from so great places. All of them had work experience of 4 5 years. All of them looked matured. All of them. Uh, so I felt inferior. I felt that okay, I'm not even able to meet one person who I can relate to. That okay, I'm directly hopping from one engineering college to another B school. So let me meet one person who has the same story like me. That okay, I'm a fresher, you're a fresher, and that didn't happen for me for first day. So I was very overwhelmed. I was very nervous, and I actually felt inferior on the first day.
Yeah.
But then when I had interactions, when I met people, when the activities happened, when I got a chance to speak up to people, so that is when I felt that okay, this is actually the place where I belong, and I'll actually be able to learn more from these people. But
Okay.
initially, I was overwhelmed.
Okay. So I'm sure this must be the experience of lots of students who get intimidated by people who have work ex in the B school. So how did you, then kept yourself together and kept yourself focused while, being in the campus and networking around the campus?
Uh, so again, the first day I felt overwhelmed. The same thing happened when I entered the placement committee.
Okay.
So me and just one more person, only two of us were freshers who were working in the placement committee in the first year,
Okay.
in the junior placement committee.
Okay.
So the very first day, they gave us a task which was about Excel, and I took most of the time. I took more time than most of the people.
Okay.
Now that day, I felt again nervous that okay, how are people doing it so fast, and why am I not able to keep up the same pace? The same thing used to happen sometimes in the classes that I'm taking a little more time than other people are taking it. But then a reality check for all those people who felt like this or will be feeling like this, that it is your day one at something, and other person has been doing it since 1,000 days maybe.
Yeah.
So you cannot compare your day one to somebody's day 500 or day 1,000. And the very reason that you are on the same platform, you're able to share the same classroom with them, is your hunger to learn is equal.
Yeah.
Maybe you come from different experiences, maybe you come from different journey, but you are not less than anybody there. You have the capabilities to learn the same things, and you will learn and grow at your own pace. So the only advice that helped me to myself, and I would give to anybody who's a fresher and might feel overwhelmed, is do not compare your day one with day two also of anybody.
Yeah, that's actually really nicely put. So, you also had a post on LinkedIn, I think, where you mentioned about what one can expect before entering the B school. So, what do you think are, some of the upskilling that one should focus on before they enter a B school for like somebody who's from an engineering background or an arts background who does not have, basic commerce knowledge. So, how should
Right,
they prepare themselves before joining the B school?
right. So ideally, I would request to have good time with your family and chill and have the peaceful life that you have, which you're not going to have for another at least a year when you enter the B school. But again, if somebody is really keen on upskilling and really wants to stay ahead, I think the first thing anybody and everybody should focus on is skills like PPT, Excel, and reading a lot. So if you're a very good reader and you only read fiction, even that is not going to help you when the case studies of 40 pages come up.
Yeah.
So make yourself habitual to reading and reading fast. So these are the basics. And the second thing, somebody coming from engineering background or any background which is not as commerce, I think try to understand what exactly is accounts, what exactly is finance, what exactly is corporate banking, because we are not even exposed to such terms and then we start studying it. So I am not saying that go to the bookish slangs and terms and learn all of that and get into concepts and theoretical knowledge, lelo nahi. But at least go through some of the YouTube videos wherein you'll understand that what one can learn in accounting, what will you be taught in basics of finances, and try to at least have a mindset that you will be able to learn about these things. So
Okay.
that will help you in just mentally being prepared when the things come up directly to you. And believe me, not one thing, it will be 100 things coming to you all at once. So at least brushing it up by looking at few YouTube videos will help you.
Okay. So you mentioned that one does not get sleep in a B school. So is this myth true, or is it just for the rumors that, you don't get time to sleep when you are at
Um, the first week at IIM, nobody gets sleep. So it's
IIM?
very hectic. And why is it? When you get into the IIM, you'll get to know. I would not want to ruin the first week at IIM. So that is hectic for no doubts. Then it becomes subjective.
Okay.
Now, why I say that is because your time is yours, and what you choose to do when you enter a B school is also not same as other people. You might want to get into societies, clubs, committees, or you might not want to have any position of responsibility. So even that is your own aspect. Secondly, some people want to excel and be into the top 5 percentile of the batch in terms of academics. Other people want to sail through or just maintain a CGPA of above average. So even that makes a difference. So one, getting sleep or not getting sleep entirely depends on their goals that they set.
Okay.
For first 6 months, the life will be hectic no matter how your goals are, what your goals are, and everything. But post that, the 1.5 remaining year of your MBA, you'll get sleep or not depends on what you prioritize, what your goals are, what you choose to do, and how you choose to spend your time.
Shruti, tell us about your campus life at IIM Visakhapatnam. What were all the extracurricular opportunities that you were offered, and also about the academic curriculum that was there?
Right. So the campus life at IIM, firstly talking about the campus itself, the infrastructure of IIM Visakhapatnam is really beautiful. One of the best sunrise, sunsets, beach connectivity, everything is very good. And talking about the event life or the life at IIM Visakhapatnam, one would find tons of opportunities to engage oneself in various clubs, committees, and events happening all year round. So festivals are celebrated across the country. Then you'll have other clubs and committee events, annual social gatherings. Then there are a lot of events happening for inter IIMs also in terms of sports, in terms of cultural. So you can be a part of that. It happens all through the year, and college के किसी ना किसी कोने में कुछ ना कुछ चल रहा होगा in terms of events, and something happening would be happening. So yeah, no stress over there. That life at IIM Visakhapatnam or in any IIM in terms of events is going to be fun.
Okay.
And uh, the later part about academics. So yes, it is hectic, but not all the time. So initially, when the term starts, it is slow. But as soon as the assignments come in, as soon as the presentations start, as soon as the quizzes, midterm, interim, submissions, everything starts, then it becomes a little hectic at the end. But most of the times, it's not that.
Okay.
And one can sail through and manage.
Okay. So I think this time a lot of students would be joining IIM Visakhapatnam. So what do you think are the top three things that one can expect when they are joining IMV?
Okay, so the first thing is that you are not going to sleep for the first month at least. Second, you are going to willing to be a part of the clubs, committees, and the events happening in the campus. And I suggest that one should really immerse yourself into the campus life, into the event life, into whatever the B school has to offer to you. And the third thing I Visakhapatnam will have is when you're stressed and when you want to have a getaway, it's just 5 to 10 minutes of connectivity to the beach. So IIM Visakhapatnam is privileged in terms of their students getting good sunrise, sunsets, and willing to go to the beach every other time. So these are the three things specifically. But also one thing, not just about IIM Visakhapatnam, but now that you've said that people would be joining and if they want to prepare, once you get into the college, you'll not even understand that within no time, summer internship preparation.
True.
And you won't have much time to manage academics, clubs, committees, your resume preparation, everything all at once. So one tip would be, before you get into the B school, make sure that you collect all your documents, all your proofs for your previous work experience or your achievements and everything ready before you get in, so that when you get in, you don't have to hustle much to get everything collected and then put it together on your resume.
Okay. Okay. So, Shruti, you were studying at IIM Visakhapatnam and then you gradually progressed to creating content on YouTube. So, how did this transition happen? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So when I was preparing for CAT, I used to see a lot of videos on YouTube. And so was the time when I got to know that there are many clubs and committees in IIMs.
Yeah.
And I've always been a person who has been into Rotary, Rotaract, and clubs, committees, as I mentioned. So I wanted to have a good position of responsibility where I'll get exposure, where I'll get to work a lot. And as soon as I entered the B School Placement Committee came into the picture, where I got to know that I'll have good exposure, I'll get to learn many things, and it would be tough managing placement committee and all my extracurricular activities. So that challenging thing challenged me and I took up the challenge. After a year, I felt that maybe I want to explore more about internships. I want to do YouTube. I want to explore more than just the community or the committee and the club of the college. So I started writing on LinkedIn, and the people who used to read about my content on LinkedIn, some of them only reached out to me in my DMs or in my post and said that, why don't you make a video about this on YouTube? So I gave a thought to it. I posted my first video and it became viral on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So when something works and works in favor of you, you of course get motivation. So that motivated me a lot. And then I started creating content actively on YouTube. LinkedIn was already in the picture. Then again, Instagram came into the picture the same way, that why don't you come to Instagram also? And since that, I think it was in July 2023. Yeah, when I started, and till now, I am trying to actively create content.
Okay. So then, how did you manage your studies along with, preparing and creating content?
Uh, so my difference any other creator who starts creating content in MBA in the first year, I would not be able to relate to them and my experience would be different. Why I'm saying that is because in the initial time, you are not very used to the MBA environment and you're not very used to in managing the hectic deadlines and sacrosanct deadlines and so many things coming up to you. But when I started creating content, I was already in my second year, post my summer internship. So by the time I was used to the MBA environment, by the time I knew that uh, what things I want to get enrolled into, what things I don't want to do. So that really helped me a lot in clearing and setting my priorities. But if you're someone who wants to start creating content since the first year of MBA, I think that would be really hectic. In second year, life in the second year of MBA is not as hectic as in the first year. Again, I was in the placement committee in the first year. So in the second year, I also did not take up any position of responsibility. So even that segment of my time in the day was vacant. So I could dedicate it to the content creation. But if someone is trying to create content, have a position of responsibility, excel in academics, and also take up content creation all at once since the starting, yes, it is going to be tough.
Okay. So you mentioned about your summer internship. So how did you prepare your CV for summer internship when you entered the college, and how was the interview experience for your summer internship?
Right. So about CV, somebody whom I reached out to on LinkedIn already told me that make sure you have all the documents ready when you have to get into a B school. It will be real quick. You'll have to upload all your documents. So make sure you have everything ready. So I already made a Google Drive folder in which I made an Excel that this is the achievement. जिसके लिए ये document would be uploaded. I made a structured Excel sheet and a folder wherein I had everything prepared. So when I had to do that, it was easier for me. Secondly, I sat for my engineering placements, as I mentioned.
Okay.
So a rough draft of my resume was already prepared, wherein I just had to swap some technical achievements and some technical information, and I had to cut down that and add more management perspectives.
Oh,
So only that change I had to make. So that is why I mentioned that if you want to sail through easily in the summer internship preparation process, make sure you are ready with the documents and your pointers even before you get into the visa.
okay. And how was your interview experience for the summer internships?
Yeah, so I did my summer internship in Integrace, which is a company of Glenmark,
Okay.
and that was my very first shortlist. So I had no previous experience of sitting in an interview for a summer internship. When I had to appear for the interview, it was divided into 4 rounds. The first round was, I think, group discussion. Second round was also group discussion. Third round was an HR round, and the final round was a round with the management heads of the particular stream. So the business head, the HR head, and the strategy head, they conducted the final round for me. The interview, do you want me to explain the questions that were asked to me? Or
Yeah, yeah,
how did
sure.
I prepare?
Yeah, yeah, sure. You can talk about them as well. Just a few questions that you think were interesting or somebody would get help from.
Okay. So firstly, I'll cover how did I prepare and then what questions were asked and how did it help me.
Sure.
So in the preparation part, I wanted to apply for sales and marketing because I knew that I'm interested in sales and marketing roles. So I had a lot of internships did in the same sales and marketing things, and I made sure that I brush up all my things mentioned in the resume. Second, I revised all the concepts of marketing one, marketing management one, which is the subject marketing management two. And the third thing I did was prepare about the industry, the company that I am going to appear. So I had to prepare about FMCG and pharma. And I prepared a lot about the same industry. I prepared a lot about the company. And post that, the interview phase came.
Okay.
Yeah. And regarding the group discussion round, just brush up on the current topics that you think might be coming in the group discussions. So usually the topics around current discussions and some famous topics regarding like moonlightning or similar topics which are going in trend. You can prepare
Okay.
that and that would be beneficial.
Okay.
Regarding the questions that were asked in my summer internship interview, so again, it was mostly based on concepts regarding marketing. Uh, why MBA? Tell me about yourself. Why FMCG or pharma? Why sales and marketing? Why did you choose to do MBA as a fresher? Why should we choose you? These are basic hygiene questions which would be asked to anybody and were asked to me also. About apart from that, they asked me questions regarding the company, that to just see that if I've prepared anything and if I'm genuinely interested. And a few concepts here and there from the first semester or the second semester of the MBA.
Okay. Shruti,
Yeah.
how important do you think networking is when somebody is studying in a B school?
Uh, so networking is really important in terms of getting help for projects, in terms of associating with the right mindset, right kind of people. And not just today, but network is also going to help you in the long run when your friends would be working in similar companies or industries that you want to end up in. But again, saying that, networking does not mean that talking to everyone and being available for everyone all the time. So figuring out that what is important for you and prioritizing that, again, is a very crucial aspect of networking. So networking is very important, but then understanding that whom should you network with and what kind of network you want to build for yourself is also as crucial as that.
Okay, okay. So, Shruti, you recently graduated from IIM Visakhapatnam. What do you think your future plans are when it comes to your professional career, and how do you see yourself, post IIM life?
Right. So as of now, I am planning to join the company where I've been offered placement. And when I join the company, I'll obviously tell the name of the company, but by that time I won't. So yeah.
Sure.
So I plan to work in the same company. I'm really focused and keen in working in the marketing and strategy domain. Over the years, I see myself being a leader in marketing and being a leader in strategy. Maybe
Okay.
still in the corporate, or maybe somebody as an entrepreneur working in the same streams or domains. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
that are my plans as of now.
yeah, we need more women in marketing. So all the best to you. So,
Thank you.
Shruti, there is an alternate debate as to the relevance of MBA as a degree. Because the startup culture is booming right now in India. So people
Right.
generally ask, is it really, relevant in today's time? So for you, someone who has prepared and been in an MBA life from one of the top institute of the country, how much do you think MBA as a degree is still relevant and worth it today?
Right. So, as you mentioned about the startup culture having a boom in the country, it is still risky, and everybody does not get the same platform. Everybody does not get the same resources to get out of a college and then start their own startup. Saying the same things, everybody does not also have a clarity about what kind of business they would want to do.
Yeah,
And again, not everybody wants to become an entrepreneur, take that risk. Some people really like 9 to 5 jobs.
yeah,
So, considering all the aspects, MBA is a really diverse degree, and MBA binds together really diverse set of people. It is relevant today, and I think it will be always relevant because it's not just teaching you theoretical concepts, but the purpose of MBA is to expose you to the diverse market. And when you live in the flagship program, in the residential program, in the campus with so many versatile people coming in from different places, different cultures, different backgrounds, it itself is a different and unique experience that will also add up to your learning.
okay,
Um, if you're very keen about learning about startup, and if you're very keen about doing a job, not doing a job and only doing business, I think in that case, it might be not relevant for that kind of a person to go for MBA. But for somebody who wants to learn, who wants to get into the job, get experience, learn from others' mistakes, learn from their own mistakes, and then they might want to get into consulting or say business, MBA is still relevant.
okay, okay. Shruti, IIM Visakhapatnam also has an international immersion program, which you were a part of. So tell us a little bit about that. What was the process and what was, included in that program?
Right. So just to clarify, IIM Visakhapatnam as of now only has international immersion program, which is not same or equivalent as exchange program.
Okay,
So exchange program basically is when you go to any international university for an entire semester for studying certain subjects. But international immersion program is basically like an industry visit for a certain period, a week or 2 weeks of time. In IIM Visakhapatnam, we had international immersion program for operation strategy, under which we visited Vietnam, Singapore, and Malaysia. The immersion program lasted around 7 to 9 days, and the cost of which was not included in the fees. So it is not included, is differently charged. One might also get loan for the same.
No,
These are the questions that I oftenly get, and I don't know, but I could only think of the answers coming to that.
that's okay.
Talking about why is it conducted is because in the international immersion program we get an opportunity to visit a lot of industries and learn what we are learning in textbooks. So we actually get to see how people are implementing it in the business context and in the real world out there. Yeah, so this is more
Okay.
about it.
So how was your experience, going to abroad and learning from the industry and exploring the city? How was that experience for you?
So firstly, for somebody like me who has never been to any international borders by myself or even with family or anything, so this was my first experience. So of course, it's really amazing. I had fun. I learned a lot of things. I got to know so much. The exposure is great. Talking about the professional aspect of it, it is really good to see that how seamlessly the things that we are learning about are actually implemented out there. And when we read about it, it doesn't come to us so realistically, but when we actually see it. Now, comparing that to the Indian business context, and when we learn about different cultures and how people are operating business in the different uh, regions or different boundaries, is another exposure. So, हर तरफ same चीजें नहीं होती. Just say a simple example, like in Singapore, you can't carry a chewing gum.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to carry a chewing gum also. So for somebody like me, if I had to do a business in India and now I want to suddenly expand it abroad to say any random country, and I have no knowledge about how cultural differences might actually play a crucial role
Yeah.
and how important it is to know, it will never come to me unless I'm exposed to it. So it was a very good opportunity for me, and it was a very good opportunity for students to learn that when you actually cross the borders and you see, you'll meet a lot of different kind of people who operate differently, who think differently, and businesses also run differently.
Okay. Okay. So, Shruti, your journey so far has been really inspiring to everyone out there. So, how would you describe your journey so far? Right from preparing from CAT and then now studying at it, IIM Visakhapatnam. So, how would you describe this journey?
Uh, it is a roller coaster ride, basically. Yes. Um, MBA definitely was a roller coaster ride, and not just MBA. Starting from my IIT failure till today, it has always been roller coaster, and I'm so grateful to have actually lived the life at IIM. Uh, this is that opportunity that so many people dream to live, and I wouldn't boast when I say this, but I really feel that the kind of exposure and the kind of learning I got at IIM, because of the peers I was into and because of the atmosphere and environment I was put and the curriculum that was taught to me, it is incomparable.
Okay, that's really nice to hear. So, Shruti, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us your time. I'm sure a lot of students will get help from the insights that you shared today. So, we'll love to have you again. Thank you so much for joining, Shruti.